Hi, good morning. This is Lezlie Cebulski, traditional naturopath, aromatherapist, EFT practitioner, and I'm in my home office at Holistic Healing and Wellness. And I wanted to talk today about a case study of a client that came to me and make it a little more comprehensive, including aromatherapy, EFT tapping, as well as some helpful supplements and homeopathics that were helpful for her anxiety. So I had a client come to me with some anxiety, also a couple of different autoimmune issues, which I have intuited have something to do with her emotional trauma that she's experienced even from a child and then in early adulthood. The case studies that I will be talking about today and going forward are not medical advice, but I think that it gives you some insight into some helpful aromatherapy and tapping, how those pair together, as well as other supplements that maybe you or your friends and family may find helpful. If you find this interesting, please feel free to share it, and I will post some product links below this post. And all of my sessions, I actually have developed over the last 12 years, a lot of pages and pages of things that are potentially helpful for people, and go through a series of muscle testing. And really, I combine all these things in terms of supplements, aromatherapy, and tapping, because we are physical, mental, emotional, and bioelectrical beings. And so there are a lot of different aspects to health and wellness that, I personally believe need to be addressed simultaneously for the fast track to healing and wellness. So this particular client came to me. She'd had several autoimmune issues, and we, didn't really get into those specifically in terms of it, but her main problem was that she was having issues with her anxiety and digestion. And when we got into the her story, she had experienced some early childhood trauma as well as some early adulthood trauma, both physical and emotional. So through a series of muscle testing, there were a couple of things that we found beneficial. One was for the area that was traumatized, a combination of a custom roll-on was made for her, and that included something to actually relax the area, which was this general area in here. So Lang Lang was muscle tested great. I think that this area here is body mapped for Lang Lang because of stress and relaxation. That's a key component in the Biosource Naturals stress relief lotion. So that was part of the roll-on, as well as some anti-inflammatory type of and analgesic essential oils. So the clove bud was an analgesic or pain reliever, and the helichrysum was also a good combination in this roll-on because it helps with inflammation. So those were like a mind-body custom roll-on, and all of those were helpful for physical and emotional trauma, basically neck, jaw, shoulder area. We combined that, and she muscle tested well with Open Heart. Open Heart is a custom product that is made from Biosource Naturals. That was actually my invention about 12 years ago. Well, actually about 10 years ago, but it came out of my practice where I do make a lot of custom products for people in session, which I had previously mentioned. And this was one of them that I saw a pattern that people needed over and over again. If it was anxiety, fear of rejection, feelings of, disappointment with other people, in relationships, lack of trust, and that sort of thing. So what this is all about, and this really, I think, was her favorite and her comment, was that it's a combination of essential oils for the heart chakra area, which helps stimulate release and repatterning of emotions due to trauma or disappointment, fear of rejection. But it also has several different Bach flower essences in it, and you can read all the detail in the link about it, which help with shock and sadness. And, you know, a lot of times when you're going through something where there's a betrayal or an issue where someone's hurt you physically, emotionally, that is really going to close the heart down. Closing the heart down energetically affects the rest of the body. So she was experiencing some other issues, which sort of mimicked adrenal and thyroid, but I think some of it needs to be cleared up, you know, emotionally with her. It also has a gem elixir that I make in the sunshine, and usually at sunrise, and the Great Lake Huron, and it's a gem elixir of rose quartz, which is helpful for experiencing self-love. And I think, you know, most of the people that I work with, really when it comes down to it, it's forgiveness of others, forgiveness of self, and learning to love yourself more. I mean, that's really kind of what it boils down to everything. In terms of supplements, there were several that I think are helpful for her from the muscle testing, and I'll just go over those. If you're not aware, a lot of anxiety can be derived from a lack of gut health because a lot of our neurotransmitters are made in our gut. And gut health is important. It's the gut's labeled the second brain. So if you're experiencing anxiety and you're also having digestive issues, more than likely there's a connection there. So a couple things that we saw was that hydrozyme was a really helpful supplement. I have professional lines of products here, Biotics being one. And the Biotics hydrozyme is hydrochloric acid that will help her digest food. So we did a series of muscle testing with different food, and then with and without the hydrozyme. So that was helpful. And if she's digesting food well, then her anxiety, I mean, that's going to help stop the contribution to the anxiety. The other item that was helpful was this Biotics BioCMP, and that has a combination of magnesium, calcium, and potassium. And often people that are experiencing exhaustion or adrenal fatigue, which it's been called, a lot of times lack these minerals, or they have more than one than another. And this is generally helpful, and it was designed for that problem. Another thing that was helpful for her anxiety was the inositol. So inositol really helps feed and calm the brain, and this is another Biotics product that was helpful for that. And Progressive Labs makes an adrenal resilience, which has adrenal glandular extract in it as well from animal, as well as different vitamins and minerals and some herbs that help the body and the mind deal with stress. Also, a Biosource Naturals product that was helpful for her and we used in the session was the chamomile hydrosol. And if you're not familiar with hydrosols, we have a whole line of them. I love them. I use them every morning for a lot of my personal skincare. And if I know I'm having kind of a packed or somewhat stressful day ahead of me, I'll often spray this. So I use the chamomile just to make sure I stay calm. And I love the rose for my face because it's a great toner. But the chamomile was really helpful for her in the session. And what hydrosols are all about is that when products are steam distilled, when plants are steam distilled in the essential oil extraction, there's water used. And the water from the steam distillation is a hydrosol, or sometimes called a floral water. And that is left over, but it's actually used in a lot of water-based products. and it's helpful. It doesn't have as strong of a scent. It's water-based, so you can incorporate it into any kind of water-based lotion that you have if you want, or you can buy it as a spray as we sell it. But the interesting thing about it is that it has a light scent, but it has a lot of the chemical constituents that it would in an oil, because it, was the leftover water used in the steam distillation. So I love these products, and I think they're very versatile. And the chamomile calmed her right down. I mean, we just kind of sprayed her all over, and it was really helpful. So in terms of the Biosource products, it was the Open Heart and the chamomile spray. And then the custom roll-on for the physical emotional trauma of the Lang Lang clove bud and helichrysum for Lang Lang for the relaxation, clove bud for pain numbing, and helichrysum for pain numbing and inflammation. And she muscle tested really well with that. Finally, a little product that I do love is fulvic and humic acid, which is I just picked this up on Amazon. It's Mimi's Miracle Minerals, and the nice thing about fulvic and humic acid is that it's very comprehensive to get trace minerals. That's really helpful for the whole body, but particularly in anxiety, it's hard to get some of the trace minerals in our diet, and so this is a really quick and easy taste, doesn't taste bad, a way to take a little drop, have a dropper, or put it in your water. In terms of the tapping, how we proceeded was she actually muscle tested really well with the blue light, which is calming. And then we applied the Open Heart and the chamomile spray. And then she had the custom roll-on that I made with the Lang Lang clove bud and helichrysum. And we proceeded to really tap more on the trauma, but when it really started to get down to it, it was more involved than that. It was about feelings of self-worth. And a lot of times people that I work with, really it kind of all boils down to that: self-worth, forgiving self, forgiving others. And so that is basically really what we ended up focusing on, and just exploring some thoughts, that negative self-talk that was rolling around in her head. And I think it's also helpful to talk to somebody, in a private setting where you just, talk about whatever it is. Just helping to air it out sometimes reduces the intensity of it, but also tapping on it. So I'm pretty optimistic about her issues. I'll also add that she was in the late 30s. She was having some issues, and with hormones, and she muscle tested well for progesterone cream. So I think that that's going to be beneficial for her. So that's all I have time for today. There's lots of different types of anxiety. There's a lot of different causes of it, and my goal here is to discuss different successes that I've had in different combinations with aromatherapy, tapping, and different types of supplements and the combination, so that if you find this helpful, or you think that somebody that or yourself can be a benefit, please feel free to share. Remember, this is not medical advice, and if a symptom persists, please seek out professional healthcare practitioner that you trust. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.